Hi, everybody. Hope you had a good weekend. Hope you enjoyed the beautiful sunshine. It's 4:30 on this Sunday. I want to begin by talking a little bit about what some of the temperatures were. Again, the big headline here, as I'm sure you realize, this was the first freezing temperatures and first widespread frost of the fall season. Technically, a couple of days early, but really pretty much right on cue for what the climate book says. So this is the forecast that I showed you last Friday, and it turned out to be pretty much spot on. We talked about clear skies Saturday, Sunday, and we will be clear again tomorrow morning, Monday. We talked about calm wind areas away from an east wind. Would absolutely get down to 32 and could see temperatures all the way down to 26. That happened. We talked about east wind areas out mainly along the Columbia River, at least Saturday morning, having enough wind, places like Troutdale, to stay above freezing and could be 35 to 40 degrees. Troutdale was 40, 41 Saturday morning, while Portland was 30 degrees. It's crazy how you can get one area that gets wind and the temperature is elevated. Then you go just downriver a little bit to PDX and there's no wind and the temperature falls off to 30 degrees. We see that time and time again. We saw it again over the weekend. Now, I will tell you that this morning on this Sunday, we had a few more spots pick up an east wind. So therefore, there were a few more spots that stayed above freezing, but we still had a whole fistful of areas that in fact got down to 32. Some of the coldest temperatures over the weekend: Corvallis 26, Kelso 27, Vancouver 28, Salem 29. Again, that's Portland PDX 30. And remember, I said that I really thought the freezing warning should have included the coast. It didn't, at least not initially, because when you get an east wind flow, the coast is the same temperature as the valley. And sure enough, we had freezing temperatures. I stored 32. My memory's right. Newport was freezing. I think Tillamook was down to 28 Saturday morning. So again, outside of the Columbia River, and then Sunday, a few more east wind areas. Boy, we certainly had the frosty conditions. There were some above normal temperatures out in McMinnville and some other kind of typical areas that get a little bit of an east wind. This is a look at the temperatures this afternoon at 4 o'clock, and I'm showing you this observation because I want to show you who has an east wind. But basically, more frost tonight in calm wind areas. Now, with that said, Newport, look at this. What a day. Sunny and 61, but they have a northeast of 14, so they'll probably stay above freezing tonight. You go down to Portland, 58. This is PDX. Now we have an east wind of 14. The airport, I'm pretty sure, stayed above freezing. I think it was 35, 36 this morning. Maybe it was 34. It was 34 now I think about it. They'll probably stay at least in the mid-30s again tonight, but downtown Portland may hit freezing. There's Hillsboro, 58. East wind at 6, so it's hard to tell if that goes calm or not. You folks may get down to freezing. Salem, north wind at 8. I assume you're going to get light to calm winds. I think you'll be back down to freezing. But look at Troutdale, east at 22, gusting to 29. Troutdale absolutely will stay above freezing. 54 right now. You folks out along the Columbia probably see your lows out near Troutdale hold at 40 degrees. So that's just kind of the difference in the wind and what the difference is that can make in overnight low temperatures that we've been talking about. So this shows you what this is the National Weather Service blended forecast model, and it shows 37 at PDX tonight with an east breeze. I agree with that. Shows 26 though out in the Dalles. Shows freezing in Salem, 32. This does show Astoria picking up enough of an east wind to stay above freezing, and they might. But again, you definitely get a variance. And there's certainly still plenty of cold weather. There's burns at 10 degrees expected tonight. Up in Spokane, there's a temperature of 24. So overall, we're still in this very dry batch of Canadian air. Now, the freezing level has been going up, and the air mass is starting to moderate, but it's still low dew points, dry air. And with clear skies, calm wind areas, we'll get back down to freezing. We will be enjoying some dry weather and sunny skies on Monday, still dry on Tuesday, and then we open the doors for a pretty good stretch of rainy weather developing Wednesday that will last all the way into the weekend. Here's a satellite picture. This has the upper level contours on it. And when your forecaster says we have ridging, this is what they're talking about. I put the arrow in here. See how the contours kind of ridge, arc upwards? That's a 576 height. That's high for this time of the year. That means at least aloft. The air is pretty warm. And these ridges, when they set up, they tend to block and hold off the weather system. So here's this low being held off for the time being. There's a second developing low, and there's a pretty good moisture flow coming in on the bottom side of the second low that will be drawn into our area as well. Now, again, perfectly clear tomorrow. Tuesday, we start to see this ridge break down. We'll probably start to get some high cloudiness for kind of partly sunny skies. And then starting on Wednesday, it looks like we will open the floodgates somewhat to getting some moisture. And that's what I want to show you right here. So this is the European model. This is Tuesday afternoon. We're all dry in Oregon and Washington. The ridge is breaking down. We probably start to get some high clouds. And then we get into Wednesday. And during the day Wednesday, very slowly from the coast to the valley, we'll start seeing an increase of rain. Here's Wednesday at 5 p.m. And honestly, right now, it's hard to tell how long we stay dry Wednesday, because remember, this is moisture. It's going to be moving into still fairly dry air. So it's going to take the atmosphere a little bit to get moist. So if you have plans Wednesday afternoon, at least here in the Inland Valley, I would feel decent that there's a good chance that you're going to stay dry. I think the rain chances, now we could have some light rain develop in the afternoon, which is what this says. I think the better rain chance gets going into the evening, but we'll see. And then the next front comes in on Thursday. So now look at the widespread rain on Thursday. Here's Thursday afternoon. This puts over an inch of rain in Astoria and Newport, puts about a half of an inch of rain where you see the blue areas up and down the Willamette Valley. Now that first front weakens, so because it's running into this dry, cooler air that we've had. So if anything, I feel like this model might be overdoing, and maybe we don't get a half of an inch in the valley on Thursday. Friday is kind of an in-between day with some dry time, then rain picking up later in the day. Then there's a stronger front that comes in during the day on Saturday. Now look at Saturday. Now, this is giving you collective rain totals. So basically from what falls Wednesday, late day through Saturday. Now we're over 2 inches at the coast. This potentially shows us getting up to an inch in the valley and more than that up in the Cascades, and some decent measurable rainfall all the way out of the Blue Mountains where there could be a half of an inch or so. This system on Saturday, by the way, has the potential of some gusty winds to about 45 miles per hour along the coast, and some noticeable southwest, at least 15 to 30, 35 mile per hour winds here in the valley with what looks to be a really good soak. And let me go ahead and play this into Sunday. Notice how now we're up over 2 inches of rain in the valley. So one of the weather models, the GFS, the American forecast model, one of them, gives us 2 inches of rain Saturday and into Sunday alone. So right now, the weekend looks to be very, very wet, and that's something I'll continue to follow. Snow levels are going to be fairly high going into the weekend. I don't see that being an issue. It will be raining up over Cascade Passes. And with that said, thanks to Hazeldale Tire Pros for sponsoring my 7-day, as always. Here are the numbers. Overnight tonight, 36 out of PDX, but if you don't get wind, you'll be back to freezing. And then Tuesday, partly cloudy skies. I still think some of the usual colder outlying spots with calm winds will get down to 32 Tuesday. And then that's it. Everybody's well above freezing Wednesday. Clouds are coming in, rain developing at least late day, maybe earlier in the afternoon. The rainy Thursday that we showed you, that's a weakening front. Then the stronger front bringing some rain and wind, and those heftier totals that could be 1 to 2 inches for the upcoming weekend alone on Saturday and Sunday. And there, I mentioned the snow levels go back up. Look at the overnight lows in the 50s, and daytime highs due to the rain may also hold in the 50s. Okay, that is your update. So between the freezing temperatures and the rainy pattern getting going on Wednesday, we have an active 7-day forecast that we're tracking. Thanks for using my weather channel and hitting subscribe. That helps me out. My weather site's portlandweather.com. I'll talk to you soon.